Hello pagans, welcome to my garden. I'm Comedian Jackson. I'm bringing a video to you today just to explain what's going on because I've been off the channel for a while now, about 2 months. The real simple answer to that, my computer's broke. It just, it broke down. One of them things. I can't afford to get a new one at the moment. So if anyone's got any ideas of apps, I've got a tablet, but I'm not really familiar with the video editing software on tablets. So if anyone's got any ideas of any software that I could use, preferably free ones because they're all subscription services, that would be great. I think the last video I put out was Friday the 13th video, and firstly tell me if you had a okay Friday the 13th. I broke my foot again on Friday the 14th, though. It was about 1 a.m. in the morning. It'd just gone, so time zones maybe, but I survived Friday the 13th. In the meantime, my garden is non-existent at the moment. Everything I was trying to do with it has been blown down by the really changeable weather that we've been having. It's one day it's hot and sunny, and I really got started in that little sort of week where we had really hot weather and things were looking good. Change of weather, everything went stormy and ruined the garden. It just destroyed everything. So there's nothing growing in there at the moment. I've got plans on what I'm going to do, but they play into something else that's happening at the same time. So a couple of months ago at this point now, I saw an appeal for a child that needed a kidney, and the story kind of touched me a bit. It was a really sad story, if I'm honest, and I figured, I got 2 kidneys, I'm not using one of them, I might as well get the use out of it. I'm just gonna follow Hal into here a second. He wants to go down to the river, I think. Geez, someone is smoking down here. Right, he's gone the long way around and looks at it to get me through to the stream. He wants to go to the stream today. Not particularly hot today. I mean, this is June the 15th. It is June the 19th, and not yet very warm. Oh, come on. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, what I was saying was, it's a kidney to kidney, and it was like a national campaign to try to get something for it. Oh, you can say hello? I hope the stream isn't too loud. I can't tell. So what was I saying? Yeah. Oh yeah. So this kidney to kidney, and I filled in the application and started to go through the process. So I've had my first appointment. Did that on the 8th, and it's going pretty well. Seems so far like everything is good. There was an expected result. I didn't expect, at my age, but my cholesterol is slightly high. But I'm be 41 soon. Is that really such a shock that I'd have slightly high cholesterol? I thought I ate pretty well. I exercised quite a lot, but in the past the past 2 years, injuries and stuff did stop me from exercising. I gained a bit of weight, so you know it probably makes sense that happened. So you know, right now I'm trying to lower the cholesterol. I don't want to go to the GP about it yet, because I know they'll put me on statins or something. And I mean, this isn't medical advice when I say I don't want to go on statins. Statins save lives. You know, they do reduce cholesterol, but they come with side effects. You know, you get the achy muscles. No one knows how they're gonna react to a new medication. And they said it's only slightly raised, you know, it's a tiny amount. So why go sticking a new drug in myself when I could bring it down naturally? So, you know, it's all about the exercise now, and all about eating right. And this is where the garden stuff comes into play, because I'm going to explain some things I want to do. But one of the things I wanted to go through was the organ donation process from the side of a donor, because I think that there's probably quite a few series and a lot of information out there about the recipient of the organ. But sorry, I'm getting out of breath, but he's making me climb up and down hills. Yeah, I think there's probably quite a lot of information about the recipient of the organ. And you'd probably find quite a lot of information about the donor. I've spoken to a lot of people on Reddit about it, and you know, they all seem quite happy with the decisions. I've seen one or two where they said, I kind of wish I hadn't done this, because you know, they've had like these small thick problems and stuff like that from scars, and I can understand it. I've never really had that much worry about my body. You know, I'd like to lose a bit of weight, like I said. That's a cholesterol problem. Just keeping myself fit so that I live as long as I can. So yeah, I want to do a series covering my experience of going through this transplant procedure. I'm purposely not going to name the person that it is, who the recipient would be. I know who the recipient is, because it was part of an appeal to get an organ. They're very young. They're not very well. Oh hell! Yeah, they're very young, not very well. I mean, you can live on dialysis, but from my experience of seeing people in dialysis, I did dialysis when I was first year student. I did a couple of days at a dialysis unit. They were taking patients from the ward I was working on to dialysis. Dinner again, and that water's cold. He thinks it's funny, I think. Yeah, and it was long. You know, you'd rock up for your shift at 7. Dialysis would be at like 9. You know, they dialysis would start from day about 9. So you'd get them washed, get them clean, get them dressed, get them on an ambulance, and they'd go from where I was to the dialysis centre, which is, you know, it's in the same place as I'm being taken up, getting all the tests for, you know, getting all checked out for. Oh. And you'd be there for like 10, 11 hours. That's a day gone, you know. If you were living with kidney failure as the recipient is, that's a lot of your life being taken. I mean, you'd get dialysis 2 to 3 times a week. There's no point in this, really. And this person's young. The way I see it is that if I can give them a kidney, or anyone really, because there is more to the process than what I'm saying here. But right now I'm aiming for one person. I mean, it'll ultimately be one person. Only one person can take a kidney from you after that you used up. Unless you're born with 3, which I'm probably not. I've seen it though. I've seen people with 3 kidneys. But if you give them that kidney, you're not giving them the natural biological process. You're giving them time. You're giving them their life back, because say you're on dialysis 3 times a week, that's half your life spent sitting in a chair having your blood cleaned, and that's, it's quite intense if you ask me. Half of your life just sat in the chair waiting for your blood. And dialysis invariably makes you feel tired, because they throwing your blood out, they're filtering everything out, they're cleaning it. It's a whole process, and it's not mega complicated. I can explain the process of how dialysis works, what it does, but it's not the same as, I'm sat here now out next to a river. They could be having that life too. Somebody else could have that same life by my donation. And right now it is a young child that I'm very young. They've had major tragedy in their family. So that's the other thing I want to cover. I want to do a series. I'll do a second video ASAP, probably record it straight after this, explaining what my appointments were like. I have been recording them videos for myself as like a diary for the future, if anything happens, because there are risks. It's a surgery at the end of the day, but if anything happens, my kids will be able to look back on those videos and know that, know I was doing it for a good reason, and for my own, so I can look back in 20, 30 years and say, this is what I did, and it was the right thing to do. But yeah, let's talk about the other things. So the broken foot. Again, just splashing again. My legs are freezing, soaking wet now. Yeah, broken foot happened on Saturday the 14th. Very early in the morning, slipped on stairs. It didn't feel nice. Next morning, it was black. It wasn't good. But it's fixed now. It's been like 2 months. You boot it up and away you go. And the high cholesterol. So the high cholesterol is something that I didn't expect. I thought, if anything, I was going to come back with you have heart palpitations or AS or something like that. And everything came back great. Actually, it came back very good, except for that cholesterol level. And I could leave it be. I could do nothing. I could go to a GP. I could get a medication for it. They've said that's, maybe I should go and have a look at it. I'm going to try to deal with it myself. And to that end, I figured, why not grow a healthy... And he's done it again. You can probably see the water splashing on the screen. Get a healthy garden, and what I'm going to do is grow it all indoors. I'm going to use sort of half hydroponic and half traditional soil and planting, and then grow it all into lights that I've got lights for my hydroponic system anyway, so it's just about fitting things in to make sense. And yeah, I'd like to go through all that, because I think it's one of those things that you could easily make your own indoor garden. People don't have a lot of space in the gardens. I realise that I'm quite lucky to have a fairly big garden. I know it keeps getting ruined because my neighbours ruin the garden by building a dodgy wall. I know that's the case, and I could probably work hard at it and get it all sorted, but we're getting a bit late into the year now. So I'm gonna do something like half hydroponic, half regular, planting with it. I've got some interesting plants. I've got some passion fruit, some kiwi seeds. I bought a papaya today, and I got some dragon fruit seed. So what I'm going to try to do is try to grow them as well, and because they'll be indoors in a place that I can control the. I can find out, what is the best conditions for these plants, and make sure that they do grow, grow in those conditions to get the best out of them. And I don't know what, to be honest, I don't know what a papaya plant looks like. I don't know what a dragon fruit plant I know what the fruit looks like, but not the plant itself. So that'd be really fun. And I'll probably talk about vertical gardening, because that enhances space. I forget that my garden is so big and not everyone has got that sort of space. And working through that and encouraging people to grow plants in their own houses. I mean, that's a big part of my practice, is getting people to grow their own. So for now, I've got most of the stuff to do the plants. I need to do a bit of electrical work in there, because I've got a lot of air pumps that have burned out and stuff like that. So a little bit of work on that, and we're good to go. I could get that done in the next week and a half. Oh, come on. I could get that done next week and a half or so, and then I'll start planting. We'll go through it. I'll explain the process of how hydroponics work, how vertical gardening works, and if you don't have much space yourself, we could get going with it. I mean, it's probably the safest way if you live in an area with a lot of pest insects and things like that, because you're preventing them from getting in the first place. So and realistically, it can be applied to anything you want to grow. I'm saying I want to grow these plants. Oh, an avocado. That was the other thing. An avocado seed. Again, no AI is going into this video. I am purposely staying away from it. So that's why this video is a bit rambly. Writing down my thoughts on the kidney transplanting. Will take maybe a day, maybe 2 days. I'd like to edit the video properly. I'd like to start getting good at video editing, but without a computer at the moment, I'm a bit stuck on that. But I tried out the AI for a bit of help on writing. It's just not good. So things do take a bit longer for me, and things are bad. I also wanted to do a series about self-care sort of things. I didn't put it in any videos after last August, I think it was. I started carrying on my theories about the satanic panic, and we went into the area of current witch hunt. And the day I went to upload it was the day Charlie Kirk got done. I was literally 70% of the way through the 70% of the way through upload when I saw that news, and it felt wrong. I don't think he was explicitly mentioned in the video at all. but Turning Point UK was, and it didn't feel appropriate to be using anything associated with them, especially in a negative way. It just felt like I was jumping on a bandwagon. October came and went. My nan became very ill. She had bone cancer. She died early November. End of last year wasn't great. Kids got sick again. It seems like it comes in cycles, It wasn't COVID, but they all got flu this year, so everyone was sick. I didn't get sick again, so I was left looking after them. Life gets in the way of things, and then the computer went. I was doing a lot of 3D modeling at the time, and I think I just busted it. I think it's a very old computer, it's an 8-year-old computer, and it was struggling a fair bit, and I think I just pushed it past the end. It happened. So I'm not going to be able to afford an ASAP, but I'm saving for a new one. Something to carry on with 3D modeling, so I was quite getting into it, and I was enjoying doing it. During that time, I spent a lot of time reflecting on things, because my nan died, and I hadn't seen her in quite a long time, because again, life got in the way. And when she got really sick, there was always that, like, do I go down, don't I go down? And ultimately I didn't want to go down. I've seen bone cancer, I've seen what it does to people. It's not pleasant. I can detach myself in like a clinical way, but it's your own flesh and blood, you can't detach yourself from there. But I found things that really did help me. Like, I'm going to talk about those things. One of those things was Death Stranding, like Hideo Kojima. So I'm going to do an entire video dedicated to that, because I could talk about that for a long time, and how the themes of it, and how I played through the grief elements with it. So yeah, I got ideas for things coming. It's just the editing, getting the editing done. And like I said, if anyone can help me find a decent editing app for that'd be perfect. Somebody just walked past, wondering what I'm doing down here. So yeah, expect the video coming in about the kidney donation process. In reality, it's just going to be a talk about who the person is, why they're given, why I'm giving to them, and the first appointment, and what I know about what the process is. And we'll go through it as we go through it. When I know something, you'll know something. I've been in contact with the family, but I'm not going to mention them, because there are rules, and I don't want to spoil their chances of getting the kidney if it's deemed that we're breaking the rules on it. So yeah, hopefully you'll follow me through that, and maybe share the story, and maybe it'll inspire you to do something similar. Anyways, blessed be, and have a lovely day.